This is a tale of two wildlife management areas. One in the Llano uplift of the Texas Hill Country. The other in the rolling plains of northwest Texas. Although they are hundreds of miles apart, they have something special in common.
We are here on the Matador Wildlife Management Area tonight looking for Texas horn lizards as part of our ongoing Texas horn lizard reintroduction project. So these lizards here are some of the founder lizards that the various zoos used to breed in captivity, and then we released the babies back into the wild. So we are driving the roads on the wildlife management area. We've done this for many years and found that the only effective way to find lizards is just to drive these WMA roads or county roads slowly looking for lizards. They're very difficult to find just by walking through the pasture. They're very camouflaged, very cryptic. So we spend most of our time just driving roads, and it's a pretty effective way of finding them.
This is a nice female Texas horn lizard. Another crew is also on the lookout for horn lizards.
We are collecting both males and females to take morphological data, and then also try to collect semen on males and bring back a couple for the breeding population.
And what do we have here?
Male horn lizard.
And this is what we're looking for, right?
Yes. We need breeding males.
Back at the bunkhouse, the biologists collect a variety of data and samples. Semen specimens are evaluated for a new artificial insemination program. Graduate student Micah Van Allen is testing for the presence of pesticides. Some of the males will go to the Fort Worth Zoo. All of the rest will be released back to the locations where they were caught. Texas horn lizards are listed as a threatened species. Only individuals with a proper permit can pick up, touch, or possess them in Texas.
Right now, all of the babies that we are producing at the Fort Worth Zoo and Dallas Zoo and Caldwell Zoo, they're all going to Mason Mountain Wildlife Management Area. That's been our site now for about 6 or 7 years where we're releasing the hatchlings. And we're gonna continue to do that until we feel that we've got a self-sustaining population there, and then we'll consider moving on to other areas.
Since 2017, over 3,000 horn lizard hatchlings have been released at Mason Mountain. Here too, and at a nearby private ranch, research on horn lizards is ongoing and extensive.
It's right there.
My name is Kira Gangbin. I am a PhD candidate, and I am currently studying ways to enhance the reintroduction efforts for the Texas horn lizard. My dissertation has 3 main chapters to it. So the first chapter is focusing on studying nesting ecology of Texas horn lizards. The thought is if we can figure out where female horn lizards are choosing to make nests at, that would probably give us some good insight as to where we should be releasing lizards in the future for our reintroduction program we have for the species. So this is one of our horn lizard nests, and the only reason I know that there's a horn lizard nest here is because I was here about a day ago and I watched the female lizard make this nest. If you came up to the same spot today, you'd have no idea that this was a horn lizard nest because female horn lizards cover their nests so completely that it's perfectly camouflaged now.
At each nest she finds, Kira takes a variety of measurements and samples.
This is measuring the slope of the ground of where she made her nest site. So this is a soil moisture probe. This measures approximately the water content of the soil right next to the nest. So in this case, we have a volumetric water content of about 20.8%. The second way we measure soil moisture is with a soil core. So we'll take a soil core, we'll dry that core in the lab to figure out about the percentage of moisture that was in there. So now I am taking a picture of the microhabitat square so we can get an idea of the approximation of how much bushes, shrubs, grass, and open space there is around her nest site. The second chapter of my dissertation is focusing on ways to poison the red imported fire ant. This is an invasive ant that came into the United States in about the 1930s. And this ant has just wreaked havoc on our ecosystems because they outcompete a lot of the native ants here in Texas. And these native ants are really important for the horned lizard's diet. The small native ants we have are important for the hatchling horned lizards to eat, and the big red harvester ants, often call them red ants here in Texas, those are important for adults to eat. They think they comprise about 85% of their diet. The third chapter of my dissertation is going to be focusing on looking at where horned lizards are selecting to brumate at. Brumation is essentially hibernation for reptiles. And so if we can figure out where lizards are brumating, we can apply this information to our captive breeding programs at the zoos. So currently at the zoos, the #1 time in which these lizards are dying is when they go into brumation. And this is really weird because in brumation, that's when horned lizards typically have their highest survival in the wild. About 90 to 95% of them can live throughout brumation in the wild. But in the zoos, it's much, much lower. And so if we can figure out where these horned lizards are brumating in the wild, figure out if maybe they're picking a specific temperature, a specific microhabitat, or a specific soil moisture, we can apply this information to the zoos, hopefully have higher survival in our zoos, which will then lead us to have more individuals to release at future reintroductions.
This will be, I believe, our 8th year to reintroduce babies there at Mason Mountain. In the past couple years, actually, we're finding reproduction from babies that we released several years prior. So we're finally having lizards that we're reintroducing as babies that are growing up and having babies of their own out there. So that was a pretty important milestone. We applied different trackers to them. For the baby horned lizards, we have something called harmonic tags, and these are much lighter weight. Those types of tags don't have a battery, so we actually just apply it to the horned lizards using super glue, and it does not hurt the lizards. They end up shutting the tag off actually in about 3 weeks. So adult lizards get things called radio trackers glued to their back with eyelash glue. The reason we use eyelash glue is because the trackers that they have on their backs have batteries in them. And so after 8 weeks, we need to change out the batteries. With eyelash glue, it comes with an eyelash glue remover. And so we can apply that to the back of the lizards, we can change out their tags. And when I saw them, I fell in love. I felt like they had so much personality. And so for grad school, I decided I wanted to work on horned lizards, and here I am today. So I am one person on a long chain of people that have been working on Texas horned lizards, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it.
To accomplish this scale of research and reintroduction, a vast collaboration has evolved with a variety of partners.
I've had an endless list of supporters for this project. Some of the biggest supporters, I have to say, is of course TCU, Texas Parks and Wildlife, and the Fort Worth Zoo. But there's other zoos like the Dallas Zoo, the Caldwell Zoo. There's cities, the city of Pearland has been involved in this reintroduction. Fossil Rim has, and then I've also had a lot of different organizations that have provided things like grants for me, for like the Horned Lizard Conservation Society, as well as the study for amphibians and reptiles. Another really huge supporter in this project is the White Ranch. That's the private ranch that I'm working on. The family and the land managers have really provided a tremendous amount of support. This year on the project, I have a really spectacular intern. Her name is Julianne Lee. She graduated from the University of Oklahoma, and I would not be able to do this project without her either. She's the one that's out here sweating and really putting in the work. I love working at Mason Mountain Wildlife Management Area. The staff there is just so supportive. They make me a better version of myself. At least once a week, I will wake up and say, wow, I'm currently living the best years of my life.
For more information on horned lizards, see the video description below.